Hey, so it's November 2nd. Yesterday, I was blown away by all the videos about it being November 1st and being able to take out your Christmas decorations because I love, love, love Christmas. It's my most favorite time of the year. I think it's the best time of the year. Um, and as I thought about that, I thought about how, oh my God, it's November 1st, it's November 2nd, the year is coming to an end. There's so many things that I intended to do this year that I didn't do regarding my grief work and sharing my story more, doing more blogs, doing more videos. Um, I recently published a workbook to my first book, Love and Love, a Poetic Journey Through Grief, through love, loss, and grief. I did a workbook because I think that the conversations that I have in the poetry conversations, but the things I talk about in the poetry book are about remembering your loved ones, being honest with yourself, relationships, and love for God and how God's love has seen me through this grief journey. So let me see it here, but I have these new books that are recently published and available on Amazon, also available on my website. And I had this master plan about how I was going to do these videos and do, reels and different things for each book and, over a 4 week period and lead up to it. And all of this in preparation for different things throughout the year. And um, yeah, that didn't happen. So part of the reason it didn't happen is because I am a master procrastinator. And so I've been reading and thinking and praying more about this issue I have with procrastination, and I'm waiting to the last minute to do things. And when it comes to sharing my grief story, if you know me, you know that I've shared on Facebook, I have a blog. I don't have a problem with sharing my grief story in written form, although I haven't blogged as much as I could have. I do have some challenges with sharing it and doing videos and ongoing talking about it. So I don't even know if it's challenge. It's uncomfortable. Like, I talk about breast cancer, public health stuff all day, every day. Like, it's what I do in my professional life. And in my personal life, talking about grief is hard. Experiencing grief is hard. And I realized that yesterday, moreover, or more, it was more potent yesterday on November 1st, watching these videos and people talking about bringing out um, holiday stuff and Christmas decorations. And I was excited because I love Christmas, but then my excitement kind of dwindled because I was in a funk. I was in as my Aunt Ruth used to say, I felt, as my late great Aunt Ruth used to say, I felt fear to Midland. And in feeling fear to Midland, I realized that it was a little bit of grief, a little bit of sadness as we prepare for the holidays. And this morning, when I was dyeing my hair, I realized, November 1st just reminds me of November 30th. And that was the day in 2019 that my brother Mel passed away. And as I'm dyeing my hair, I was thinking about a funny story of my hair. Like, this is my natural hair underneath my head. I wore it like this today. We're at the end of the day, so it's unraveling. But nevertheless, I hardly ever wear my natural hair because I'm pretty low maintenance, and my natural hair requires a lot of attention and maintenance. So I don't wear it that often. But years ago, I used to get it blown out maybe more frequently than I do now. And um, I had started seeing gray hair in my hair, so I immediately started dyeing my hair. And funny thing about dyeing my hair, basically I would rinse it and do it myself. And I would only just, I would be on a mission to get rid of all the gray hair from the front of my hair because, oh my gosh, I couldn't stand it. And this particular time, I wasn't really so much concerned about the back of my hair. I don't know, or either I didn't think that it was back there because I only saw it on the front and my edges. Nevertheless, I'm at my mom's house. This was a couple of years ago. And for whatever reason, my brother Mel and I were on the steps. And so he was looking at the back of my hair and he just started talking about, he asked me, how did they do that? When did they start putting gray hair in weaves? And this was years ago. So before wearing gray weaves was popular. And I was like, what are you talking about? This is, and I was, it was nice. I had a nice little blowout. I had a nice little hang. So I was excited about that. And I was like, this is my hair, blah, 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 blah. And he was like, oh my gosh. And then so we laughed and we joked about it being my natural hair, or my real hair. And he's just clowned to no end about the gray hair in my hair and about me getting old and whatever. And it's so crazy. It's crazy. It's funny because, and it was funnier because, as you all know, I'm the youngest of 13 kids. And, um, I always clown my older siblings about their age. So, now that it's not only was it his turn to clown me, he's also clowning me because I had gray hair. And I was like, oh my gosh. So, anyway, so when I was dyeing my hair, it was a good memory to have of him. And so many good memories. And so my first book is memories. Well, not first book, but my first journal. So I have a collection of 4 journals called Be Encouraged. And I have a new workbook called Love and Love, a journal through grief, love, and loss. Love, loss, and grief. And it is an accompaniment to my poetry book, Love and Love, a poetic journey through love, loss, and grief. Um, so when I did the poetry book a couple of years ago, again, I had this master plan and these things that I intended to do around, the chapters in the poetry book about um, remembering your loved one, about relationship, about mental health, about faith and family, and about being honest with yourself and faith and trust in God. I had this really good plan, and I just never. I started it, then I stopped. I started it and I stopped. So it's almost like it's been the little engine that could. And as I think and thought and prayed and meditated about my procrastination around this topic, and people always say, well, you talk about breast cancer, you talk about stuff, and you don't really have a fear of public speaking. I do get nervous about public speaking, but it's just that it's different. And I don't have a problem sharing my grief story. I don't have a problem talking about it, writing about it for sure, because I write about it all the time. But I don't think I have a problem talking about it, but because when I do, I do. But I realize that the procrastination is hidden in my procrastination is some fear of talking about it. I'm still working through what that is. So until then, as I continue to share and get this master plan of what I had from my head into fruition, because I think, well, I know that God has given me a message to share with others around grief and living through it. And I want to be obedient to God. Like, I don't want to continue on this path that I've been on of procrastinating, being scared to fail, scared to succeed, feeling overwhelmed with life and like I just don't have the time to do this, and knowing that I need to be intentional about the time God has given me, be intentional about the gifts God has given me, and use my story to share the good news of His kingdom, because it is because of God's good news, because of the good news of Jesus Christ, that I am able to live through grief, and you can too.